How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? It's me, Xilium, and today we're going to review all of the Ice Age movies to find out which one is the best, the pinnacle in the series. So first off, let's take a look at the original Ice Age, shall we? In this film we are first introduced to one of the most important characters in the Ice Age series. This is Sid, and he represents the average American male. Oh, and there's also a fat mammoth who acts like a 17-year-old emo guy.
Oh, go ahead. Follow the crowd.
He is also one of the strongest mammals that I have ever seen. The plot of the movie is quite simple. A group of tigers were terrorized by a group of humans. Let's just call them stoners for now. So as revenge, the tigers went to game end the stoners, especially the devil spawn himself, who I have heard killed 3 of the tigers using only his feet. One of the tigers, called Diego or something, finds the baby. But the baby is not alone. Her mother grabs her and runs away. Then Diego scares the mother to the side of the cliff, where she decides to commit suicide. After the tigers flee the scene, the mob boss gives Diego an ultimatum.
I want that baby, Diego!
I'll get it!
You'd better, unless you want to serve yourself as a replacement.
Throughout all of this, the 2 main characters, Manny and Sid, are walking towards the north, although everyone else is moving towards the south. The main reason that Manny wants to go to the north is because he doesn't want to blindly follow the other animals. The reason that Sid is going to the south is because he's a pussy. Oh shit, turns out that the mom is still alive somehow. Then she gives away her child to Sid and Manny because she doesn't have money for a babysitter. They decide to take the baby back to his father, and on the way to his camp, they get into quite a heated argument about Nintendo products.
Let's get something straight here, okay? There is no Wii. There never was a Wii. In fact, without me, there wouldn't even be a U.
While Sid and Manny were goofing around with the kid, throwing him down a cliff and stuff, Diego grabs him out of the air. Manny got so mad over it that he knocked the baby into space. They group up with Diego, and when they get to the stoner's place, it is totally abandoned. The other tigers show up at night to talk to Diego, and he explains that he is going to help trap the other animals he's traveling with. Oh no, what a plot twist. Traveling around with a sloth and a mammoth for a day has not completely changed his mind about eating the baby. The next morning, Sid decides to do the oldest trick in the book, pimping out your child for some attention from the opposite sex. Sex that reminds me of something Sid will never get. Oh wait! After whatever that was, there's a long compilation of them traveling. Then at 53 minutes into the movie, we get one of the first scenes with any intensity to it. Diego gets stuck on a lowly pillar of snow and then jumps to his safety, but is not able to reach the platform, so Manny helps him up by risking his own life. Later, Diego starts having second thoughts about killing everyone in the group. So in a predictable manner, when they get to the place where they were supposed to get ambushed, Diego actually helps Manny and Sid to get out alive by using a decoy baby to confuse the tigers. Then Manny kills the main tiger and becomes the new mafia boss. Manny brings the child back to his father and everyone lived happily forever. The end. The main thing I'd like to say about this movie is that it's just boring to watch. It's alright but also very forgettable. I almost never remembered anything that happened when I was watching it as a child. I've definitely seen worse films, but it's definitely not a good first movie. 4 out of 10. Next up is Ice Age 2. This one I do have fond memories of, but I will try to be as unbiased as possible. There are a lot of new side characters in this movie. Let me just quickly speedrun through them. Some beavers, the beetles, some mini mammoths, a red bird, the gang of hedgehogs, the long-necked penguins, the long-necked bear, some ninja turtles, and a female mask. And there's also 2 of my favorite side characters. A turtle called Tony who kind of sounds like Phil Swift.
Through its tinsel design and sturdy construction, you'll have plenty of air.
It even works underwater.
And a lemur who's very overdramatic with every sentence he says. No wonder he went on to voice BoJack Horseman.
Check this out, the last text message she sent.
BoJack is going to kill me?
I think someone's trying to frame you for murder.
Oh my god. We're gonna be late for the bat mitzvah. We gotta get to Brentwood. At this time of day, it's gonna be murder. hey, Lahai!
And there's also 3 brand new main characters in the film. 2 possums and a mammoth who thinks she's a possum. The possums' names are Crash and Eddie, and the female mammoth's name is Ellie. Ellie is just fully delusional, but also very hot, definitely would smash. Just kidding, I would never smash a mammal who's over 300 pounds. Right off the bat, the movie starts up with a much more lively feel. A lot more is going on than in the first movie, and there's a few good jokes in the beginning.
Boy, this global warming is killing me.
This is too hot, the Ice Age was too cold. What would it take to make you happy?
This I like.
The beginning does drag on a little too long though, and I wish they got into the important events faster. Talking about important events, Phil Swift starts talking about the fact that there is going to be a flood. And turns out he was right. Then they're greeted by a very friendly vulture.
The more of you die, the better I eat.
Who tells them where to go to get a boat to get out alive. So the crew embarks on their adventure to get to the boat on time. After Manny meets Ellie and the possum gang, they decide to team up for the trip. On their way to the boat, they are attacked by 2 ancient fish creatures who used to scare the fuck out of me as a child. These scenes are a lot more intense than any of the scenes in the first Ice Age movie. I usually don't cover single scenes in movies, but this one was just so impactful that the first time that I saw it as a child I started to cry. It's obviously this one.
What about me is attractive?
Huh? What? Oh, well, I don't know. Well, there's your, butt?
What about it?
It's big?
No, but really, it's this one. I'll just change the music because I don't want to get a copyright strike. Anyway, on their way to the boat, the group spawns strengthened by some trials and tribulations. Also Sid becomes a king, but already in a few minutes, the crowd tried to King Louis him. The next day they get quite close to the boat and see all the other animals going there. This obviously being a reference to the Noah story from the Bible. Before they get to the boat though, there are some geysers popping out from under the ground, so Ellie and the possums decide to go the longer way, and Manny goes the more dangerous way with his crew. Ellie gets trapped in a cave, so Manny goes to help him. Before that, he has to have one final epic showdown with the ancient sea monsters.
Round 1, fight!
And then all of a sudden Manny changes his mind and decides to help the sea creatures kill... what was the bitch's name again? Ellie, yeah. And there was never a new Ice Age after that. Oh wait. Fuck! Oh, and then suddenly a hole was made into the side of the ice pillars and that somehow drained the water. And some mammoths appeared from behind the pillar. The end. So to summarize this one, I would say that it's a decent enough movie and I do prefer it compared to the first movie. It is definitely not as good as I remember it, and a lot of the movie is full of filler, even more than the first movie. This movie gets a 4 out of 10 for me. Alright, now for the third movie. Don't you just love it when a Wii game based on a film has a much higher Metacritic score than the movie itself? The new characters in this movie are mainly just dinosaurs, but there is also a new main character called Buck, who also got his own Disney Plus movie this year called The Adventures of Buck Wild. But I will not be reviewing this movie because it is not a mainline film, but a spin-off. Also, it looks very shit.
Oh no! Crash and Eddie went back to the Lost World!
And I thought I made bad choices.
Anyways, Buck is an interesting character who acts like he's the child of Marilyn Manson and Chuck Norris. He is a character that could survive under almost any conditions because of how well adaptive he is. This movie went in a slightly different direction than the first two. It starts off with showing that Ellie is expecting a child. Sid starts to feel lonely because everyone around him starts to move on, but he doesn't really have anyone to move on with. So then he stumbles onto a bunch of dinosaur eggs, and when they crack, he decides to start raising them. Turns out dinosaurs are actually the cutest thing in the world. Sid takes the dinosaurs to the playground, but when they get there, they just massacre all of the children. Later, The mother of the 3 dinosaurs came to take her children back, but she also took Sid by accident. The gang decide to help Sid in the underground world, where the dinosaurs are situated. Look at all this magnificent landscape. Not gonna lie, it feels quite fresh to see a slightly different landscape in the series, because so far the first and second movie were pretty much identical in that respect. When they get into the forest in the underground, they meet their guide for the evening, Buck, and the others decide to ask help from him when he saves them from being eaten by a plant. After that, they go to the Chasm of Death, where there is probably one of the most painfully unfunny scenes of cinema history.
Thank you for deserting the herd! That was totally super!
Sid tries to help co-parent with the dinosaur mother, but they got into an argument about American politics instead.
Honestly, I think we should just trust our president in every decision that he makes.
No. Then Ellie decides to go into labor, right as she is separated from all of the other people in the group.
Are you trying to hold it in?
Can somebody slap him for me?
While Diego and Manny are saving Ellie, Crash, Eddie and Buck go to save Sid. After Sid is saved, Rudy comes to attack the gang, but thankfully the mama dinosaur is right there to save the day by pushing him into a pit. Sid and the dinosaurs say their last goodbyes. And that's pretty much the end. This movie had a lot of potential because exploring a brand new landscape is a pretty interesting idea, but unfortunately the execution of the film was very lackluster. I just feel like the story didn't have much of a point to it, just because the viewer was always shown that Sid was completely fine. I think that the story would have definitely been a lot better if we weren't shown anything about Sid and how it's going for him. Also, there would have been chances for more creative and intense obstacles. The movie was a lot less intense. I'll give it a rating of 3 out of 10, and that's me being generous. So in this movie, the baby from Ice Age 3 has now become a full-grown Peach.
He's hot!
There's some new characters in this movie as well. Main ones being Ethan, who's Peach's crush, Sid's family, Louis the Mohawk, the pirate gang, a saber-toothed tiger called Shira, who, fun fact, was voice acted by the famous comedian Jennifer Lopez.
Listen up, you little bitch!
And let's not forget about the monkey captain. In the start of the movie, there's a conflict between Peaches and Manny, because Manny doesn't want her to start seeing anyone. So this is the guy that Peaches likes. I guess she must have gotten brain damage from that third movie when Ellie did this. While they're in the middle of an argument, the land in between them splits, and Manny tells Ellie and Peaches to meet them at the bridge. I think that's a great idea because nothing bad has ever happened on a bridge.
What a fucking name.
Manny, Sid, Sid's grandma and Diego are left on a small island made of ice that floats on the water. A pirate crew finds them and then decide to hijack their so-called ship. I believe this is the first Ice Age movie that goes into a musical number, and I really hate it. I will just play you a short snippet to not torture you too much.
Here you are on a boat, you're adrift, you're afloat, one might even say you're stuck. Well, I don't want to gloat, but I would like to note that you're in luck.
After that, Manny and Diego are tired of being held captive, so they decide to break the boat in half.
I saw this boat in half!
The group of pirates leaves behind Shira, who is saved by Manny. Now to see how Ellie and Peaches are doing. Holy shit, how has this tree branch not broken yet? Now, after a prolonged amount of time, Manny and the gang finally find some land. When they find the way to go back home, turns out the pirates are in their way. Don't ask me how they already got a new boat. They conduct a plan to get the pirate ship to themselves. And turns out the plan is quite similar to the one in the first movie. First they create a diversion, and then they get onto the boat while it's moving. After that we are shown how the monkey makes his ships. The next day when Manny and the gang are going to where Ellie and Peaches are meant to be, they are greeted by the pirate captain threatening his family. Then comes the final fight scene with the pirates, which ends with Manny getting an amazing knockout on the monkey. After this, everyone is happily together and also Shira decides to join the community. And they decide to move to a tropical island, I think. The end. This movie was absolutely terrible and my disappointment is immeasurable. Obviously this is the Ice Age where they started to pander to children a lot more. If I'm gonna be honest, this feels more like a Disney movie than an Ice Age movie, if you know what I mean. 2 out of 10. Finally the suffering is almost at an end. It's the final Ice Age movie. Everyone who has made it so far in the video can give themselves a pat on the back, because most people don't have such a long attention span to do that. In this movie, Peaches is engaged to a guy named Julian, who seems like a real doofus, but I guess sweet as well. Buck also returns from the third movie for some reason, and now he has a musical number as well. Fuck me.
I have a message. Bully's not welcome. Return what you've stolen. Go back where you came from. La 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 la. You know I'm greater, so don't be a hater. You may be Jurassic, but I am fantastic.
There's also a group of bird dinosaurs who try to sabotage the main cheese. And also a very stretchable llama. The action starts up with some comets showering down on Earth. Unfortunately, the crew survive it. Buck goes back onto the land to let the others know that the world was going to end, and also decided to help them launch the asteroid back into space. The way this is possible is because the space rocks are magnetic. Then they go ahead and save the world just the way they described it, and then everyone lived happily forever after. It makes me really happy to see that this film didn't make any profit at all in the box office. Oh wait, don't look at that. I think this movie could have been a cute mini-film, but when half of a movie is spent on showing cinematics, then you've lost me. The only way you could get any enjoyment out of this movie would be if you were high on heroin and meth at the same time. Usually the story in these movies at least leaves something to talk about, but with this one, I have literally nothing else to say than don't watch this. So this is the main reason you probably clicked on this video. You want to know which Ice Age movie is actually the best. This was a really tough choice because the first and second Ice Age movies are both pretty equally alright. But if I had to give it to one of them, it would be Ice Age 2, just because it is a lot more memorable. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Took me a really long while to make it, but I think that I am truly proud of myself for having the patience to finish it.